for any industry to flourish, couple of things are very important. And first thing what we look into is what are the challenges this industry is facing today. So with our senior panelist here, I would request you, sir, to let us know what are the prominent challenges you see in this packaging industry, cold chain packaging, and to highlight those particular challenges, you can please give us a couple of examples also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity once again. Yeah, cold chain industry, we have been talking predominantly, especially post-COVID. Post-COVID, a lot of noise about the cold chain, vaccines, temperature maintenance, and if not, what happens? These kind of issues have come up predominantly. Cold chain was there earlier also. Simply when earlier days, they used to use not in a proper form. They put some ice in a box and send across some fish or some fresh food, these kind of things. And that is never called a cold chain because they don't stand for the validation or testing. When it comes to the pharmaceuticals and perishables, the cold chain term and cold chain maintenance and cold chain management has come into the picture. Number one. Number two, this industry has been there since long, and as the industry is there since long, the challenges are there since long. Of late, post-COVID, there are a lot of companies have come up with cold chain management and cold chain packaging solutions and logistics service providers also. That is one way, is a good opportunity for the pharmaceutical and perishable industries, definitely. But then there are some huge challenges thrown up. Earlier, very few players were there. Then the cost factor didn't really come up. But now, as the number of companies and number of service providers and number of packaging solution companies have come up, then the cost factor has really kicked in. So first and foremost, when you talk about, sir, about the challenges, that I would like to highlight is the cost factor. Cost not as a really a challenging or it is a prohibitive, but everybody's mind that will be like, what will the cost? Suppose if I go and tell a customer, now I have an excellent packaging solution that can provide 120 hours of 2 to 8 or 15 to 25 or minus 20. The first question I'll go, how much does that cost? Because definitely he is worried about how much is the outgo to maintain this kind of product. Because when we pitch in this kind of advantages which is not there earlier, the customer are so smart enough to understand how much it may cost out of my pocket. But before we really talk about that kind of cost, we have to always think of, as a pharmaceutical professional or a perishable professional, just let us take an example, a pomegranate going from Nashik to somewhere in Russia, or a life-saving injectable going from Ahmedabad to Latin America. What happens if a proper cold chain is not maintained? The end result is not so pleasant. You have lost the opportunity, not only the cost, but a very good opportunity of providing an end product to a suitable customer. An injectable, a life-saving injectable for a patient, a vaccine for a child, or a pomegranate for a food industry. So if you see this as a cost lost, then whatever the packaging solutions, what we are going to provide, that has to be really seen in that perspective, whether they are really a cost or how they are justified. So the cost definitely is going to be the factor. And the second is going to be the skill development. Unfortunately, this has to be brought into fortunately, it has to be brought into the forum. Earlier, there is no skill development as far as the cold chain is concerned. As I said earlier, some time back, there is only one thermocol box people used to take and dump some water gels and send across. That is used to be called, temperature is maintained. Nobody knows exactly, no visibility, nothing. Nowadays, it is not so. There is a lot of ways and means where you can really establish whether it is maintained or not. So to that extent, as the infrastructure is developing, as the packaging solutions are developing, as the world is evolving, as the pharmaceuticals is evolving, our biologics or biosimilars are coming in. So the skill development also is important, especially for the cold chain industry, who can really manage the cold chain end to end. starting from the warehouse to the last mile. That is one second thing. And the third thing, most important, is the infrastructure part of it. Many, as already sounded by the earlier, guest of honor and all, the infrastructure is going to be very important when we talk about cold chain, end-to-end cold chain management. Say the packaging solutions, what we provide, say the active solutions, what we provide, and especially when we talk about last mile, that infrastructure, that is the last mile. Last mile is very, very crucial in the. It is part of the supply chain and infrastructure. If it is not developed till the last mile, more number of warehouses, more number of cold chain warehouses, more number of energy efficient vehicles, so that it is not lost in the transit. So the cold chain will become a problematic if you don't develop this kind of infrastructure. So these are all the major factors, and nowadays, of course, not a problem, but as an opportunity. Again, a sustainability part is coming in. So all the companies, whether cold chain packaging solutions company or pharmaceutical companies, has to have definitely the factor of emissions, low emissions, carbon footprint, and sustainability in what we produce.